I know that a lot of you already know who I am, and to those of you, hello. But if you don't, my name is Eileen Mahan. I am the director of the Animal Care and Adoption Center. And welcome to our one-year anniversary celebration. It's hard to believe that we've already been open a year. Over the course of this last year, one of our primary goals has been to help find new homes for animals. And so when people ask me, what would you do if the center was empty? My answer is always very easy. We would celebrate because we had done our jobs well. Over the last 12 months, we've received a total of 1,607 animals. That's 750 cats and 840 dogs. And through owner reclaims, transfers to rescue, and most importantly, adoption, 1,505 of those animals have left our facility. And as you walk through, you will see there are still plenty of animals still looking for their homes. We could not have achieved such success over the last year had it not been for this community, for you guys. And our community has shown up to help time and time again. If we needed dog food or cat litter, all we had to do was ask, and the community responded, bringing thousands of pounds of donations to our animals over the last year. When we needed people, you showed up to help. In fact, over the last year, over 1,600 volunteers have signed up to help. So thank you for welcoming us in this new community-centered Animal Care and Adoption Center. And thank you to the 15,700 visitors that have come through our doors in the last year. And thank you for your continued support. At this time, I'd like to invite someone to speak who's been a great leader throughout this entire process, our County Administrator, Craig Meadows.
Thank you, Eileen. Good morning, everybody. I'm glad the weather has held off for us a little bit so we can be outside today. It is hard to believe that it's been a year. It seems like only yesterday when we were here celebrating with a ribbon cutting and opening these doors for the first time. The journey has been a long one, as those of you that know what used to be back here, which is now gone, and nice green grass. It took us a long time to get from that to here. But I would like this morning to take a few minutes to recognize some of the special guests we have in attendance with us today, and these folks were also very supportive of making us able to do what we've done here. From the Board of Supervisors, I'd like to recognize Vice Chair April DeMotts. April. Supervisor Mary Biggs. And Supervisor Sarah Bone. So thank you for being here today. We would not have been able to be where we are today without the support of the Board of Supervisors. It took a number of years of planning and saving nickels and dimes to get us to where we are, but it's wonderful that we're able to be here today in this great facility. What we'd like to do at this point is we've got a couple of unveilings today, and the first one is what I have here beside me, and I want to say a few words about this plaque. And Eileen, if you will help me. When you come in the front door of the building, you'll see this plaque right in the foyer area, and this is to honor the Board of Supervisors for their support. This is, as I said, hung in the Animal Care and Adoption Center to commemorate the Board of Supervisors who approved this community-centered facility. Hopefully, when you have a chance to walk around today, you'll see that. But since it's in the foyer, we knew we couldn't get everybody in there, so that's why we did this. This facility is something that we see as a haven for dogs and cats in need of a home, as well as another space for educational and recreational opportunities in the county for our citizens. The board, along with several other community members and even groups like Friends of Animal Care and Control, have supported this project throughout the years. However, there's one faithful champion of this project that has seen it through day in and day out, year in and year out, even decade in and decade out, making a case again and again for replacing the former animal shelter, which I called the dog pound because it wasn't really an animal shelter, which was in very rough shape. It was very rough shape when I came here 9 years ago. It took more than 2 decades, an enormous amount of collaboration, and a ton of tenacity to see this project come to fruition. Through it all, this particular individual never stopped championing this project. With that said, I'd like to ask Supervisor Mary Biggs if she would come forward to say a few words.
Thank you, Craig. I still can't believe it when I come here. I still can't believe that this is here. It's just so exciting. Just look around at what we have done, what you have done in the last year. It's just unbelievable. And I've said this many times before, that this community center facility has been a dream, as Craig said, for over 20 years. And so many people have helped us to get here today. But you, our citizens, are the secret sauce to our success. You know, a little over a year ago, we stood here celebrating the grand opening to what we believed was a much-needed service and facility in our community, and it has proven to be. You have helped us validate that belief by adopting so many homeless pets in the last 12 months and volunteering to help give much-needed care to the cats and the dogs awaiting homes. As we have shared with you earlier, more than 1,500 animals that have entered this facility have found homes in the past year through adoptions, reclaims, and transfers to rescues. Now that is a great number, and we're proud of that achievement. But how do we stack up nationally? The national live release rate for animal shelters is 83%. And the average rate for government-run facilities is 78%. I'm very excited to announce today that the Montgomery County Animal Care and Adoption Center has a 96% live release rate. You know, that's due to everyone here. It's due to our volunteers, and it's due particularly to our staff. Eileen and her team do such a great job running this state-of-the-art facility, and we are forever grateful for all you do day in and day out for our community's animals and for our citizens. So I'm so proud to have supported this worthwhile cause, even though it took 22 years, with my fellow Board of Supervisor members. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all and everyone that's not present here today that has had a part in supporting the Montgomery County Animal Care and Adoption Center. And thank you for being here today to celebrate with us.
Thank you, Mary, for those kind words. I do want to recognize another couple that I haven't seen come in yet, but without their support of this facility, we wouldn't be where we are today, and that's Karen Waldron and Sean Rickey. You hadn't seen Karen or Sean yet. We knew when we scheduled this for Memorial Day weekend that it was going to be a challenge to get everybody here, but let's give Karen and Sean a hand for all the support they've given for this facility as well. There is another presentation that we'd like to make this morning, and one of the integral parts of this facility was the involvement of staff and leadership in getting this facility built. And we talked about this a little bit last year, but honestly it was still a little bit raw for a lot of us. But one of our county department heads who passed away shortly before we dedicated this facility was Steve Phillips. And Steve was our general services director. Steve was over here every day making sure that things that were done, that needed to be done, and staying on the contractors to make sure that things got accomplished. This facility would not be here without Steve and his leadership. So just as we felt it was appropriate to have a dedication plaque to dedicate to the board and those that were involved in the construction of this facility, we felt it just as important to have a plaque to honor Steve Phillips in his memory and what he did. And I'd like to read this if I can get through it. Steve Phillips, Montgomery County General Services Director, July 1979 to April 2017. A beloved and valued colleague at Montgomery County who simply worked very hard and got things done very well. His work is evidenced in this animal care and adoption center. Steve's impact spreads throughout the community and countless lives, especially his employees and colleagues at Montgomery County, leaving a permanent and honorable legacy. And I saw Casey and his wife are here today. Family is here. Thank you so much for sharing your dad and husband with us during that time. And we are going to hang this in a prominent place in the facility as well, because again, if it wasn't for Steve, we wouldn't be standing here in front of this building today. Let's give Steve a hand. Eileen, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Craig. Now that we have this beautifully functioning building, we have great staff. We even have cat condos. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but you definitely need to check them out. However, it was clear to us that our dogs would benefit from a training yard or an exercise yard. And so our faithful friends with the Montgomery County Friends of Animal Care and Control have made this necessity a reality for us. And so at this time, I'd like to invite Rachel Potters, the president of FACC, to come up and say a few words. Much of what we are and who we are today started with FACC, and we appreciate all their support throughout the years.
It's my pleasure to bestow the Lewis Heslip Exercise Yard and the FAC Dog Training Yard to the Montgomery County Animal Care and Adoption Center. We would like to thank all of the donors that made the addition of the dog yards possible. I would also like to recognize board member Chuck Newman, who I don't see here, but he worked a lot with the construction people and the design of the yards to make it a reality. Many friends have been made because of the yards. Volunteers have been able to connect with each other, and the dogs have been able to make some canine friends. If any of you are familiar with Cowboy, then you know he has pretty much made friends with all the ladies, humans and canines alike. He was a shutdown dog when he came here, but through being able to use the yards and introduce him to other canines and to humans, he has really come out of his shell. With the additions of the yard, we've also gotten to witness lots of zoomies and great wrestling matches. There has also been some great fun games of fetch and chances to work on manners and obedience. I know I, for one, am looking forward to all the other joyous moments that the yards will provide. The adoption side yard, located to your right, has been named in memory of Captain Lewis Heslip. As many of you know, there was hardly ever a Saturday where Louis and his wife Christy were not at the shelter walking dogs. Louis was a dedicated volunteer and dog lover. After Louis' passing, we received many donations on his behalf, and the FAC board voted to name one of the yards in his honor. And since exercise was also an important part of Louis' life, we thought it was fitting to name the yard the Captain Louis Heslip Exercise Yard. I hope everyone that uses the Captain Louis Heslip Yard experiences some joyous moments, as I know this would bring a smile to Louis' face. At this time, I would like to invite Louis' wife, Christy, to say a few words.
First, I want to thank FACC, which I was a part of for quite a long time. And I want to thank the Animal Care and Adoption Center And then, of course, I want to thank the county for making this happen and the administrators. Very humbled and honored to accept this. And I know Louis would be. And he would love the yard. I know he would. But what I was going to tell y'all was just kind of how it started. That's a little lighter. So we came out on my birthday because I had decided I wanted to do random acts of kindness, and I was going to do 47 for my 47th birthday. And we came out together, and we brought some donations, and that was all we planned to do. Well, we ran into Gretchen. I think it was Gretchen and Michelle, and they talked about the dog walking. So we got in the car, and I go, I think I'm going to do that. And Louis had this horrified look on his face. And he's like, you're going to bring home dogs every weekend. I'm like, no, I won't. But he started coming with me right away. So the first week, and he came Saturday, and I thought for sure it was to make sure I didn't bring dogs home. Of course, he's going to come and make sure I come home, just me. Well, I realized after about 6 weeks when I went out of town, and he had come and sent me a picture of walking the dog. So every time I went out of town, he'd always send me pictures. So I knew he really loved coming to walk the dogs. It wasn't just for me. It was something that he loved and embraced. And he also loved sharing it with people. So I think every guy from his shift came out. People from the department came out. He would show them how to do the walks and walk with them. And so he just really encouraged people to want to be here and walk and love the concept in the shelter. So it was really in his heart. It wasn't just for me. He did it because he loved it. But the other funny story was Gretchen. So Gretchen used to always try and give Louis big dogs, because Louis' a big guy, big, strong guy. Of course he likes big dogs. So when one day I go, Louis, go in and pick out a dog. He picked out a small dog. Next time, Louis, go get a dog. Picked out a small dog. So he said to me, he goes, I think Gretchen thinks I like big dogs, but I like small dogs. So he liked walking the small dogs. He would walk the big ones too. But he would be honored. He'd be smiling down at the yard. And for me, I'm excited because it will give me a purpose for coming back out. We actually, the day he passed away, we were meeting here to walk dogs. So it's been a hard thing for me to do, but I'm going to be back with the play yard and the agility yard. And thank you.
Thank you, Christy. And thank you for carrying on Louis' legacy. Gosh, last page. All right, so again, from the bottom of our hearts, and on behalf of all of our furry friends here, we'd like to thank you all for your continued support. As a token of our appreciation, we've organized a few fun events for today, so don't miss out on the ice cream from Homestead Creamery. They're outside. The flavors, we got to name them. They're amazing. The popcorn is courtesy of Montgomery County Parks and Rec, and we have some goodies from Heathwood Market in there as well. And then if you look, one of our wonderful volunteers and staff members, Laura, made some adorable cupcakes. They look like cats and dogs, so definitely eat those because they're delicious. So also be sure to check out all the fun interactive things we have scheduled for the afternoon. We have some agility dog demos, and then we also have the Canines for Conservation are going to show us some stuff about what the dogs can do, smelling out animals and plants to help in conservation, so it's pretty interesting. And lastly, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't encourage you to meet some of our wonderful animals and take them home. So thank you, guys. Last thing, I'm going to give away the first door prize, since we're all sitting here. You get this stuff. All right. I can't look. All right. First door prize goes to number 156032. Yay! You get one of these amazing Animal Care and Adoption Center t-shirts. And we'll be doing door prizes throughout the day, so we'll have a board going around with numbers on them, so hold on to your tickets. We'll be giving away more fun stuff. So I encourage you guys to go and have fun.